What is going on, Hive Warriors? It's your boy Edward V, and today we're going to talk about 5 things you can do as a beginner with intermittent fasting. If you're thinking about starting intermittent fasting, but you want to do it right and you want to get on the right foot and minimize the potential for failure when doing intermittent fasting, these 5 rules to success will definitely put you in the right direction. Stay tuned. Okay guys, I'm just gonna jump right into it with number 1. That's right, test your ability to eat food. And by this, I mean, what is your capacity for food consumption? Is it hard for you to eat a lot of food, or is it hard for you to eat a little bit of food? Do you find yourself consuming a lot of food very, very easily and where you're racking up those calories? Or do you see yourself eating just a little bit of food because you can't fit that much calories into your body? So what I'm going to tell you is, before you start, if you're thinking, hey, I'm gonna start tomorrow, test yourself today. See how much you can eat and then adjust your food selection based on that outcome. It's a literal 50-50 split between how many people are always asking me, what should I do? I always overeat during my eating window, or a bunch of people telling me, what should I do? I always undereat. So the best way to fix one of those 2 things, if you're always undereating, so eat things that are not as satiating and don't get you as full so that you can get in more calories. So fats, increase your fats because it's easier to take in more calories from fats without getting full as quickly than if, for example, you were eating just more protein. You could even increase your carbs if that's the route you want to go, as carbs are less satiating than protein. And for the other side, if you find yourself eating too much, try to up your protein intake in your macro breakdown, because protein tends to be much more satiating and can get you full much quicker. Increase your protein if you eat too much. Increase your fats if you eat too little. Now let's move on to number 2. Yes, you need to focus on the fat loss over the weight loss. The scale is going to tell you a lot of things. There's going to be water weight there. There's going to be muscle build, muscle reduction there. The scale is not going to tell you the full story. So what you need to do is you need to look in the mirror daily, take pictures, take video, check your clothing. How does your clothing fit you? Those kind of things will let you know that you're burning body fat, that you're reducing the body fat in your body. Buy body fat calipers. I can't stress this enough. Buy body fat calipers. They're super cheap. You can get them on Amazon for like about 20 bucks. They will help you see that there's a reduction in body fat. And I say this because a lot of people get discouraged, and the number one thing that they tell me when they're talking about their discouragement is that I haven't seen the scale move a pound. I've been doing this for about a week or 2 weeks and the scale has not moved for me. Everyone is going to be different. Some people will flush out their water weight quicker using intermittent fasting. Some people will hold on to it depending on the cortisol levels and the stress levels that are accompanying them with intermittent fasting. Some people are extremely stressed when they first start intermittent fasting, which raises your cortisol levels because you're stressed, and you could hold on to water weight, or you could increase your water weight by holding on to even more water, which won't change the scale, even though under the surface you're burning body fat. So I definitely want you to focus more on the fat loss, and then also focus on the weight loss. Of course, it'll be part of it, but the fat loss is extremely important. If you're putting on your belt and you notice that you've gone 2 notches tighter, yet it still feels comfortable on you, you're losing body fat, regardless of what that scale is telling you. So fat loss over weight loss when doing intermittent fasting. The whole thing about intermittent fasting is that it is auto-targeting your body fat. It is very heavy focused on your body fat being burned. It works heavily to burn body fat. And with that focus, the weight will come down. But sometimes it just takes others more time to reduce all the other elements than someone else. So if you see somebody lost 6 pounds in 1 week and you haven't lost a pound, don't look at it as a failure. You probably just retain water more, or you're just consuming more salt that's adding to the water retention. Those things, it's very dynamic. The scale is dynamic. The fat loss, that's what's going to be linear. And you need to use other methods to measure your success with intermittent fasting. Now let's move on to number 3. This is the thing, guys. A lot of people want intermittent fasting to be this free from all chains. Take all the barriers off. I don't want to make 6 meals a day. I don't want to count any calories. I don't want to think. I just want to live. And intermittent fasting does let you live. It does. It lets you live, and you don't have to do the 6 meals a day. And if you're overweight or if you have a lot of weight on you, you can lose weight without counting calories because of the compression of the calories within a small time frame. You are inadvertently creating a caloric deficit without even knowing it, because it seems like you're eating a lot of food, but you're not eating a lot of food in the greater scheme of like an entire day. You're eating a lot of food for one sitting. So you may very well be at a caloric deficit without even having to think about it. But then when you start getting to the levels where you're not overweight, where you have stubborn belly fat, where you're just trying to reduce fat in specific spots, your lower belly, for example. When you get to those levels, you're going to have to count calories, because even if you burn body fat, even if you're targeting your body to burn body fat, you need the teamwork of the hormonal aspects of intermittent fasting with the caloric deficit to work together to make sure that you can get to the body fat percentage that you desire. I get that from a lot of people, that they just can't get rid of the stubborn belly fat. That intermittent fast has been wonderful for them, but they can't get rid of the stubborn belly fat. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that they've neglected calories going all the way down there. Now they feel that they don't need it, but they don't know what to do. And in reality, you do need to focus on your calories. It's not as bad as you think. It's not counting calories throughout the day, multiple times a day for multiple different meals. It's still in a compressed fashion. So it's still very easy to do as compared to 6 meals a day or 3 meals throughout the day. Unfortunately, for so many people who are bummed out, this is something that you do need to take into account. You need to have calorie counting there in your repertoire when you're doing intermittent fasting. Yes, you're increasing your body fat burning, but you still need that element of the calorie deficit. Let's move on to number 4. Pick a time frame. That's simple as that. Pick a time frame. Just tell yourself, I want to fast from this time to this time, and I want to eat at this time. Pick that time frame, and then do your best to hit that time frame. Do your best to stick to that time frame. We're going to move on to number 5. It's going to bounce right off of this. But pick a time frame, make a decision, just make a cold decision. Pick one. Pick whenever you want to, whenever you feel is the right time for you to do it. And let's move on to number 5. Use your first few weeks to evaluate how well or how comfortable your scheduling that you set up for yourself was. Notice every single discomfort that you have within that time frame, and that's going to let you actually structure and create the perfect time frames for you when you do intermittent fasting. It's going to help you eliminate every possible situation that's going to keep you from doing this consistently every single day. If you notice, hey, you rarely get to go on lunch break at 12, but you set your time eating thing for 12. If you notice that you normally get to go on lunch at 1 o'clock and you're rushing over and you're kind of pissed because you only gave yourself like a 1 hour, OMAD eating time, and now you're at 1 o'clock and you're like, I keep shifting it to 1 and I'm trying to eat at 12. This is like throwing me off. Notice the patterns. Do you eat more at 1 than that you do at 12? Does your family get together at a certain time? Do you normally do your hobbies? Do you have time to do your hobbies at a specific time so that when you're doing your hobbies, you're not eating, you're doing your hobby, whatever it is, YouTube or drawing or whatever it is, you're doing that so you don't really eat at that time. Those are good times to keep your mind occupied and not thinking about food, so you don't want to eat during those times. Then you built that structure. You get all that data from trying to do intermittent fasting for the first time and not really fully understanding when you're truly free to eat. And then you get all that information, you compile that, and you say to yourself, okay, it's better that I eat starting at 1 o'clock. So from 1 to 2 is going to be my eating window. and that's it. That's gonna be easier for me based off of what happened here, based off of what happened here, and what happened here. I've noticed that 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock is probably where I'm going to most likely be able to eat consistently every single day. So 4 and 5 work hand in hand. You want to pick a schedule, just pick one that you think will work, and then you put it into a trial. You actually test it out, see if it works, and if it does work, you stay with it. If it doesn't, you adjust according to that, and then you stick with that one. And trust me, I can't stress enough how important it is for you to have a structured system that will work for you every single day, and how that can keep you motivated to continue the protocol and not fall off. Because when worst comes to worst and negative things start to hit you and you wanted to quit, maybe friends or family and things like that, having a bad structure that you're not going to be able to follow well is going to add another layer to those feelings of wanting to quit. So there you have it, guys, for intermittent fasting beginners, or those that are thinking about starting, or even those that have started and stopped because there were so many things that were in the way. These 5 rules to success for an intermittent fasting beginner will help you break through and stick with the protocol for the long run. I hope this video helped you guys, and I want to thank my patrons for my Patreon, and I'm going to put their names right up here.